Shalom, businesses. This is Brother Yahweh Sabah. I want to give all honor, glory, praise to Yahweh, Shem Yahushua. Peace, salutation, hopeful legs scattered abroad across the four corners of the earth. Learning and teaching this gospel and truth and sincerity. Shalom. I want to get some World War III news. Let's get it.
What would war with Iran mean? It's hard to know because virtually no one who's talking about it in public is operating from a deep interest in America's interest. Is this good for us or is it not? Doug, thank you for coming on. Do you think that we are moving toward war with Iran?
Yes, I do. And it looks like the chosen destination is indeed Armageddon.
The chosen destination is indeed Armageddon. Let's get that. Revelation chapter 16, verse 16. And gather them together into a place called in the Hebrew tongue Armageddon. In the Hebrew tongue. That's our pure language. Like I was getting into in my previous lesson. That's our pure language. Zephaniah chapter 3 and verse 9. Armageddon, which means mountain of troops. The hill or city of Medigo. Get it right here. To gather in troops or crowds. Assemble by troops. This is a mountain of troops. What Armageddon means. The nations are being gathered.
Doesn't seem to be any real appreciation for the implications for us and frankly for Europe and the world, as well as the Middle East, of such action. Take for an example, just on the economic side, about 20% of the world's oil passes through the Straits of Hormuz every month, probably 25% of liquefied natural gas. And you're talking about shutting down 2 to 3 million barrels a day of oil from Iran. This entire region is involved in the war. This is not an Iranian monopoly by any stretch of the imagination. But the point is that when we're looking at 10-year Treasury yields up over 5%, and people are increasingly convinced that the Fed has lost control, the economic side of the house is a catastrophe. Then when you look at the military side, you have to look at the arsenal of missiles that Iran possesses. And they can reach out 1,200 miles with great precision, very high explosive conventional warheads that would do enormous damage, destroying whole city blocks in places like Haifa, Tel Aviv, even Jerusalem, though I doubt they would attack Jerusalem. The bottom line is that we need to think this through, and everyone right now is emoting. There is no thinking anywhere, as far as I can tell. The only possible exception may be, amazingly enough, Mr. Erdogan in Turkey, who came out this morning and indicated he was willing to mediate the dispute between Israel and Hamas. Whether or not anyone in Washington or Israel is interested in talking, I don't know. But if we could sideline Turkey and keep Turkey out of the fight, that would ultimately help Israel enormously.
So what would happen to the United States if we followed Senator Graham's advice and just began bombing critical infrastructure in Iran? Like what would happen then?
All of the bases that we have in Iraq and Syria, unfortunately, where we still have over 1,000 Americans, all of those would be targeted. And this time, they would target them accurately, and this destruction would be wholesale. I would expect trouble here at home and in the United States because of the open border. Hezbollah has a very large operation in Mexico. There are no doubt many Hezbollah agents inside the United States. We can only begin to imagine the kind of trouble they could cause. The missile and space program in Iran is very advanced, as is their cyber warfare capability. All of these things would be brought to bear against us. But what's most important, I think, for Americans to understand is if we attack Iran on the basis of Hezbollah's alleged willingness to attack Israel if Israel invades Gaza, we will end up in a fight with Russia. Russia will not sit by quietly and watch Iran destroyed by the United States air and naval power in the region.
That's key right there. That's what I've been talking about in the previous lessons. If you know, you know. You know, if you actually watch the lessons. Going into this as well, as we can see, this is all according to biblical prophecy when you go to Ezekiel chapter 38, like I was getting into. So let's get it. Ezekiel chapter 38. Let's start right here, verse 5. Persia, Ethiopia, Libya with them, all of them with shield and helmet. And we see right here, Persia, is Iran, man. That's the first one. Ethiopia and Libya and many other nations will be aligned with Russia, which shows out all these other nations are going to bring in to lead it into World War III, which is Armageddon, what I brought out. In the valley of Jehoshaphat, Yahweh's judgment, Yahweh Shaphat. You know, this is in the Middle East. Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, war is in his heart. You know, that's why he funds all these type of groups to do his bidding, to push war. You know, it's just his skirt's being lifted up. He's being exposed for who he really is. He does this to try to bring his new world order agenda, but it's not gonna prosper. The scriptures say, you know, we seen there was out there in Maine. There was a mass shooting, 20 people deleted. So we see, you know, the love of many is waxing cold. Roughly paraphrasing, iniquity is abounding. You know, we're one day closer to seeing Yahweh Shah, Yahweh Radazah. Even though those own rabbis are exposing, you know, Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, all going on in the Israel hell. You know, with what is really that place over there, because that ain't those is the imposters in our land. You know, Yahweh Shem Yahushua is going to show that they're just pawns, man. You know, that's why Proverbs 21:1 says, you know, the king's heart is in the hand of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, roughly paraphrasing. You know, that they're just going to fulfill prophecy. Even those rabbis exposing the elite, they're going to get their judgment as well, as along with the Amalekites. They're just salty, you know, because they're not getting part of the blessing. Keep the blessing up to himself and left him out. You know, Israel's get something out of it, but they're not. See that what's going on. This is all biblical prophecy. You know, so let's get right here as well. Brought out before on the block is Jeremiah chapter 49 verse 20. Therefore hear the counsel of Yahweh. He hath taken against Edom and his purposes, and he hath purposely against the inhabitants of Teman. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitations desolate with them. You know, it's drawing them out. You know, you get that word draw. To drag. You know, he saw, you know, the so-called white man is dragging out these nations. You know, it's you know, so we see right here, the Amalek is dragging out these nations. You know, Babylon, you know, they brought that big warship out there, you know, and they're bringing more troops out there, man. You know, we see the news. You know, we're watching in the house of Israel. That's what we're supposed to do. You know, and it's a vocal point to get World War III started, and we see it. So kind of get this one right here as well.
Breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. Breaking news. The United States government bombs Syria, specifically Iranian targets. World War III now erupts across the globe. We have multiple countries now that the United States of America is at war with. Thousands of troops on the ground. Major warships and artillery have been sent. Thousands of troops. We started with 900 troops on the ground in Gaza. These are USA forces. You know who also started out with about 800 troops? That was prior to Vietnam. But this is going to be far, far worse. This is nuclear war. Breaking news. The U.S. has launched strikes on 2 facilities in eastern Syria. On President Joe Biden's orders, the facilities were used by Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard in retaliation for attacks on U.S. forces. The U.S. Department of Defense has said. The United States is also under attack. It's being hit very, very hard on several different bases in the Middle East right now. World War III, worst case scenario. Again, they conned you into it. They conned you into World War III. I told you this. This is why I told you not to comply when they tried to push this. We're going to take you to war, reset the system, usher in CBDCs, collapse the dollar, collapse the U.S. stock market, pump up the military-industrial complex, con innocent civilians to the front lines, use you as human shields. And now this, 4:33 p.m., Hawaii time, the U.S. has struck. They've hit hard at Iranian forces in Syria. So this has opened up the war now. The USA is now officially at war with Iran. This is the worst of the worst. We are now at war with the BRICS nation.
Israel was losing, you know, so it dragged out U.S., man. Least of the flock shall drag them out.
We are at war with China, Russia, Iran, other groups like Hezbollah, Hamas, Lebanon. More countries will fall into place very soon, of course. Foreign ministers of the United Arab Emirates, Jordan, Bahrain, Qatar, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, which used to be an ally but is no longer, Oman, Egypt, and Morocco all condemn President Biden's actions. We have the whole world now acting against the United States, hating us for everything we stand for, everything we do. Of course, we've kept the borders open. We've destroyed America. We've let all kinds of people in. There are cells in the United States of America. There are Iranian cells in the United States of America that many of us fear.
Yeah, that's what that colonel was talking about too. You know, that colonel has much experience, war experience. He was in the Pentagon, so on and so forth. He was getting into it in that interview. We see that there's a lot of undercover agents is what they were getting into that are in our border.
Will activate as a result of U.S. aggression. Now, Israel, of course, now bringing in U.S. soldiers to the war. The United States government's about to pump billions and billions, tens, hundreds of billions, trillions of dollars into the Israeli war. Ran an overnight operation that I've, of course, warned about you.
Bringing out troops in there and bringing out money in there. Like I said, at least the flock shall draw them out.
Ground invasion, which started last night. It was very late night, Hawaii time. That's already started. They've got tanks all ready to go. So I believe this is happening now. The Arab nations reportedly said that Israel's right to self-defense following the Hamas October 7th attacks did not justify breaking the law and neglecting Palestinians' rights. We have thousands of innocent Palestinians that have now been slaughtered by Israel and the United States. Men, women, children, babies being pulled dead out of the rubble. This is obviously what Israel and the United States stands for: war, and genocide.
Yep, that is what Esau Edom, the so-called white man, has done. He's done this to the Native Americans, so on and so forth. He colonizes, he takes over, he rape, robs, and murders. This is what he's known for.
We now have a global World War III conflict. The United States has taken the gloves off. It's now at war with Iran and a host of about a dozen Arab nations that hate the United States. The Israel Defense Forces said they conducted an overnight raid in northern Gaza as part of preparations for the next stages of combat. Quote, during the activity, soldiers located and struck numerous terrorists, terror infrastructure, and anti-tank missile launch posts, and operated to prepare the battlefield. So not only are B-52 bombers running nuke drills right now in the South China Sea, this is breaking news too, a Chinese fighter jet came within 10 feet of America's B-52 bomber. Putin, who's been testing nuclear drills, and as I warned you with the EAS alerts, the emergency system alerts, that was all a con to condition the American public for eventually nuclear war and nuclear fallout. Just about within the year, of course, New York City ran a nuclear test. Switzerland just sent 5 million nuclear tablets, iodine tablets to its citizens. So everybody knows now, and now that war is official, that the United States has opened up and declared war against Iran. We are entering literally end times, like the holy war of all holy wars. This is absolutely terrible, terrible news. In a televised address Wednesday, Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who failed to stop Hamas entering its borders and flying in with Kmart kites that probably cost $10, a complete failure of Mossad, complete failure of the government, either that or they were in on it and it was an inside job, had this to say. He said that Israel is preparing for a ground invasion of the Gaza Strip. So they're going to turn it to glass, build up multi-million-dollar condos on the beachfront, absolutely destroy it. They're preparing for a ground invasion as we speak. They already did their overnight operations, but they're providing no details of the timing. So geriatric fool who can't speak, can't talk, who sold out the United States of America to China and Ukraine, along with his son, Hunter Biden, who does business in drugs, and these are facts, and also hookers, are now leading the country into World War III. The United States of America is now at war, not just in Israel with boots on the ground, but now Iran, a nuclear powerhouse that already has it.
And what did Colonel McGregor say? He said that if we go into war with Iran, Russia's going to get in there. And we know Russia is going to get in there. Turkey, all their Russia's allies are going to go against Babylon the Great. And we know NATO is going to go against Babylon the Great as well. You know, their allies, NATO, the EU, you know, so on and so forth, that they're going to go against Babylon the Great. And this is all biblical prophecy being fulfilled. Like he said, this is the end time war, and this is Armageddon. Let's get right here. The book of Psalms, chapter 140. Since he said that he saw the so-called white man, he didn't say that his name, but we know he said genocide. So that's what he does. Psalms chapter 140. Start from the top. The chief musician, a psalm of David. Deliver me, O Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, from the evil man. Preserve me from the violent man. And this is a violent man. You know, that's Esau's nature. He was saying peace, but behind his back, you know, was swords. You know, so he's saying peace, but he's really for violence. He's a violent man. This is his nature, like I'm getting at. Verse 2, which imagine mischiefs in their heart, continually they are gathered together for war. You know, they're continually gathered together for war. You know, that they plot evil. You know, in his mind is just plotting evil. You know, he's preparing war against the people. Let's get this in the NLT. Those who plot evil in their hearts and stir up trouble all day long. This is this man right here. You saw even so-called white man. He's just stirring up trouble all day long, thinking upon mischief in his beds, as the scriptures say. And this man, he's always wars on his mind. You know, this is what this is getting. He's gathered together for war, man. Verse 3, they have sharpened their tongues like a serpent. Adder's poison is under their lips. Salah. Yet, this is that man. You know, he sharpened his tongue like a serpent. You know, adder's poison is under their lips. This is what he sharpens. This is his sharpening. You know, we sharpen our iron in the scriptures. He sharpens his tongue like a serpent. You know, he sharpens himself in wickedness. You know, he's just adder poison is under their lips. You know, anything this man does is straight wickedness. Verse 4, keep me, Yahweh, from the hands of the wicked. Preserve me from the violent man who have purpose to overthrow my goings. Yeah, and this is what we want to be preserved from the violent man. This is a violent man who wants to overthrow our people, and he just wants complete dehumanization, man. This is what he does, genocides. He wants depopulation, Georgia Guidestones. You know, the Bohovian Grove, like I went into before on the block. This is what this man does. Satanic mindset. He wants to push doest thou wilt throughout the whole earth and take, rob, and conquer, colonize. You know, so we want our hands to be preserved from the violent man. You know, keep me from the hands of the wicked. Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Barakatah Yahweh Barakatah Yahushai, Yahweh Radazah. You know, verse 5, the proud have hid a snare for me, and cords, they have spread a net by the wayside. They have set gins for me, Salah. You know, the proud have set traps. You know, a proud goeth before destruction, and a haughty spirit as well goeth before destruction. You know, roughly paraphrasing. This is what's going to happen to Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, because he's proud. You know, the lofty is going to be put down. The loftiness of him, you know, this man is going to be brought down, you know. So he's in Obadiah chapter 1, after his slavery, he's going to be cut off the face of the earth. So we know that he spreads a net for us, you know, but we, the elect, Yahweh Radazah, we have the elect, you know, that they can't be deceived. As the scriptures say, if it were possible, they would try to deceive the elect, but they can't. Verse 6, I said in Yahweh Shem Yahshai, thou art my power, hear my voice of my supplications, O Yahweh, O God, the Lord, the strength of my salvation. Thou hast covered my head in the day of battle. Yahweh Shem Yahushai, Yahweh Radazah, he covers our head in the day of battle. You know, we want to be saved from our enemies. As the scripture say, Luke chapter 1, Yahweh Radazah, we want to get salvation, which means to be delivered from your enemies. Verse 8, grant not, O Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, the desires of the wicked, further not his wicked device, lest they exalt themselves, Salah. And his wicked device is not going to be pushed, you know, he's not going to be able to perform his enterprise, as it tells you in Job chapter 5. You know, when he thinks he's about to fill his belly, Yahweh Hashem Yahushai is going to cast his fury upon him. So the desires of the wicked are going to be put out, man. You know, so his wicked device, you know, his new world order, it's not going to be pushed. It's not going to be fulfilled. If it was, then he would exalt himself even more. Let's get back into it.
At least one nuclear weapon. Also, Russia, with more nuclear weapons than the top 3 countries in the world, all prepared for war. The United States, of course, is officially lost in Ukraine. It's been a dramatic failure, which was always the intent. I warned you about this. I said it was a proxy war. I predicted the invasion of Ukraine. It was meant to draw in the American stupid public into the Israeli conflict. That's why they had people having flags out on their doorsteps. Now you're in World War freaking 3. You are in World War freaking 3, ladies and gentlemen. The United States, breaking news, has struck Syria. They're hitting Iran proxies right now. They have now opened war with Iran. And because you kept your borders open, we're now being infiltrated here domestically in the United States. This is a red alert. This is a
They kept the borders open all by design.
red alert, breaking news. I am your freaking general. General Green here at islandproject.com. Move your money out of the banks now. U.S. stocks are set to collapse tomorrow. They've been trading down every single day. This is an end of days moment, an economic, financial reset, and World War III. I've been doing this, of course, for about 20 years now. Founder and creator of AMTV.
The dollar's about to collapse. He's getting into it.
And islandproject.com. We're about to close on our third multi-million-dollar mega retreat property as a part of getting out of the banks and protecting people as they are sent to war. This is a tragedy. Our prayers are with everybody. The civilian casualties are absolutely insane. Over 5,000 people are dead. Men, women, and children have been slaughtered on both sides. And, you know, this is your government at work, ladies and gentlemen. They locked you in your house. Now they're taking you to World War III. I tell you, do not comply. Do not comply. Resist at all costs. The United States government is now at war officially with so many countries I'm losing count. Hitting targets, Iranian targets in Syria. Executed by the Joe Biden administration, a freaking geriatric fool. In addition to that, thousands of troops in Israel. We have 2 nuclear-powered warships and nuclear-powered submarines in this part of the world. We have tens of thousands of troops and sailors in the Middle East.
At least the flock shall draw them out. Like I'm saying, this is just biblical prophecy being fulfilled. So that's why we just got to watch and pray and be sober. Be watch unto prayer and be sober, like Peter said. In Yahushua, he said, watch and pray, lest he fall into temptation. That's why we're watching and praying, so we don't fall into temptation. Because we're going through we're putting on Yahushua. We're going through the sufferings of Yahushua. We got to endure as Yahushua endured.
We here in the United States of America are left defenseless. I mean, think about this for a moment. So the gloves are off, worst case scenario, World War III, nuclear war, grid down. We're talking EMPs, food shortages, imminent invasion of Taiwan. Joe Biden has started World War III.
Invasion of Taiwan. You see, this is it's biblical prophecy, man. And he said, don't comply. Romans 13, says be subject unto the higher power. So we know through the scriptures what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to just wait on Yahweh Shem Yahushai. In patience. Patience, he possess your souls, as the scriptures say.
Like and share, get it out everywhere. Most importantly, stay prepared.
Con. Let's get right here. We can wrap this up. We got Isaiah chapter 9. Verse 5, for every battle of the warrior is with confused noise and garments rolled in blood, but this shall be with burning and fuel of fire. You said, this war is going to be with burning and fuel of fire. ICBM missiles. So it's going to lead to the burning and fuel of fire. Like when those missiles are shot off, we know when those missiles are shot off, that's when, Yahweh Shem Yahushua is going to make his return. Because he's going to beam up his elect, of course. And then boom, he beams up his elect. Babylon the gates destroyed in this 2nd Esdras 13. We know Yahushua returns, man. And we know what's gonna happen. Fire out of his mouth, like I'm saying. These other nations are gonna get destroyed for coming against him. So we see what's going on. Russia is gathering all these nations, like how I brought out in that Ezekiel 38. Let's go back to that real quick. Ezekiel, like in Ezekiel 38, he's gathering all these nations, man. You know, and Iran's first, right there. You know, he's Persia, and we see that he's gonna have this evil thought, like it says in verse 10, man. And you know, and let's read that. Thus said the Lord God, it shall come to pass that at the same time shall things come into thy mind, and thou shalt think an evil thought, and thou shalt say, I will go up to the land of the unwalled villages, and I will go to them that are at rest, that dwell safely, all of them dwelling without walls, and having neither bars nor gates. So we see that he's gonna have that evil thought with him, man, in his mind. You know, and this is just right here. This is going into attack on Israel. You know, great destruction will be in that land. You know, and that's gonna lead to then the missiles are gonna be shot in Babylon. You know, by all these nations. World War III, which leads to Yahushai's return. It's to 2nd Esdras 13, man. Calling Yahweh all this is edifying. Get right here. Like I went into it on the block as well. Ezekiel 38, and which leads to 2nd Esdras 13, man. Yahushai having fire out of his mouth, destroying all these nations for trying to come up against him. So look at Matthew chapter 26. Verse 6, now when Yahushua was in Bethany, house of Simon the leper, there came unto him a woman having an alabaster box of very precious ointment, poured on his head, he sat at meat. But when his disciples saw it, they had indignation, saying, to what purpose is this waste? For this ointment might have been sold for much and given to the poor. When Yahushua understood, he said unto him, why trouble you the woman? For she hath wrought a good work upon me. For you have the poor always with you, but me you have not always. For in that she hath poured this ointment on my body, she did it for my burial. Verily I say unto you, wheresoever this gospel shall be preached in the whole world, this also this as this woman had done be told for a memorial of her. And with that, I'm going to give all honor, glory, and praise to Yahweh, Bashim, Yahushua. Peace, citation, soul, for elect, scattered about across the four corners of the earth, learning and teaching this gospel in truth and sincerity. Shalom.